Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another Tabletop RPG News Roundup, this time for August 31st, 2025, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. It looks like Paizo is changing its format with its adventure paths next year. They have been doing monthly softcover releases for a considerable time now. It looks like next year it will switch to quarterly hardcover releases, aiming for about 256 pages minimum per. This and the price point of those books will actually probably save a little money for the end consumer, just because instead of buying and paying shipping on softcover books every month, they'll be buying one at a larger price, admittedly, but overall getting more content and thus getting basically the same amount of content over time as you would before, just at a smaller price point. It will, of course, require a slightly longer wait as well, because it will no longer be monthly. Anyway, it looks like the One Ring and the Lord of the Rings RPG have got their box set starter sets released in physical format. So that's good. That's one thing I've been looking out for. It looks like Cairn's second edition and Castles and Crusades also got starter set box sets released in physical form as well. So it looks like it's box set summer, at least for what remains of it. I'll definitely touch on the Castles and Crusades a bit shortly, because I am about to talk about minor and PDF releases. But first, let's start with Speak with Animals, Magical Beast Companions for number 2 for Pathfinder, that adds 10 new companions with stat blocks, etc. The Lost Vault of Zarnak is a 5th edition compatible dungeon crawl designed to carry your characters from 1st to 6th level, just covering an ancient dungeon complex beneath a burned-out church. Draken's Looned Adventures, number 5, Draken's Heart, is another entry into a series of adventures from Laidback DM, compatible with 5th edition OSR and Dragonbane system. The Gnawing Deep is a 5th edition compatible adventure dealing with an abandoned dungeon with toxic vapors within, which houses a dangerous predator. Mine, All Mine, is another 5th edition compatible adventure wherein a mysterious stranger has come upon a town during election time, and the mayor has disappeared, so it's leaving them to run alone and uncontested. The party must discover what happened to the mayor. Beggar's Hole is a 5th edition adventure that has the party sent out to a newly annexed town for the princess to deal with things there. Ragnar's Rage is a one-shot 5th edition module that features a barbarian warlord threatening a town due to his uncontrollable rage. Aurelia, I don't know how to pronounce that, at the Mountains of Madness is another adaptation of a Lovecraft tale to 5th edition rules and format, this time, of course, at the Mountains of Madness. Making Crit Up has a few offerings for 5th edition. There's Fey Realms, the Court of Anwin, which details various domains, nobles, magic items, and more in the Fey Realms. Fey Realms Treasures and Temptations is a Game Master's quick reference guide to material in that book. And then finally, the Book of Natural Magic Complete Collection collects volumes 1 to 6 of their prior Natural Magic series all into one volume. Player Handbook of Terrai from TTRPG is a 5th edition offering that details player-facing material for their Terra setting, including various playable races, subclasses, and much more. Setforge DM has 2 more entries into their Compendium Magic Items sets series. This one, there's one for Barbarians, the Compendium Magic Items for Barbarians, and one for Wizards. Title evident. Cubicle 7 has a Vault 5e Victoriana core rulebook, which brings historical fantasy gaming set in the Victorian era to 5th edition compatible rule sets. Kobold Press has Demon King of the Styx for Tales of the Valiant and deals with a town suffering from the revenge of a disgraced resident. Heavy Metal Monster Manual is a 5th edition compatible offering that details various monsters based on metal songs and groups from the 70s and I believe early 80s. Cold Hand of Fate is a Dungeon Crawl Classics compatible adventure where a comet has fallen to Earth, heralding a prophecy, and the king has called for heroes to go retrieve it. Can't help but think I've covered a different version of this before. Troll Lord Games has, of course, the Castles and Crusades starter set that I mentioned at the beginning, available in PDF. It offers simplified character creation, rules for directing the game, and an intro adventure. They also have Amazing Adventures Free Fire Zone, a scenario for their Amazing Adventures series, which is different but uses the same siege engine, if I remember right. Xenopus is an OSR-style dungeon crawl set beneath the Xenopus ruins, where a mayor has called for heroes to save the town before darkness swallows it. Chronomancy for Dragonbane offers a time-themed school of magic, and of course, for the Dragonbane system. Wildwood Adversaries, Creatures from Celtic Legend, is a Daggerheart-compatible collection of 20 Celtic and Gaelic adversaries, with stat blocks, features, etc. Then there's Morrigan's Memories of Myths and Monsters, another Celtic-themed Daggerheart supplement, this time featuring both adversaries and events, as well as stories, etc. Secret Passages #2 is an old school RPG magazine. It includes art, interview, essays, and so forth, dealing with classic Warhammer, Ravenloft, Mage the Ascension, Final Fantasy, and other classic games. Jolro's Player Guide is a offering that details a fantasy world utilizing the Fantasy Hero set of the Champion/Hero system rule sets. Gates of Crystallia core rulebook is an isekai-style RPG with JRPG-style influences. It details the world of Lumina as well as the anime-inspired mechanics to play within it. D6 Forge Dread Masters is a horror-style set of rules to run horror adventures from several different genres using the D6 Forge system. Black Sad now has a tabletop RPG out. While I saw this, I initially harkened back to the computer RPG I covered some time ago. But apparently it's based on a comic book series, which I didn't even know about the computer RPG. Anyway, it's a sort of noir world with anthropomorphic animals. Finally, there is Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Maledictum Vol Adventures, which includes the world of Vol and its people, various patrons, events, and adventures that can be undertaken upon that world. With that, let's take a look at crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of even receiving a product. Mentioned here is not an endorsement, but it is for informational purposes only. Grim Tales looks like it'll be a grim dark 5th edition adventure from Penny Blood Adventures, a sort of a horror fairy tale style theme. Night at the Fair will be a fairground adventure for 5th edition, including various games, colorful NPCs, and more in a magical fairgrounds. Akarith is looking to be a 5th edition compatible city setting with maps, quests, shops, NPCs, etc. detailed out. Beetle in Grimm's has Skullduggery, which will be an urban fantasy companion for 5th edition, detailing new subclasses, feats, spells, equipment, items, etc., as well as an adventure suited for levels 1 to 9. Another double feature from Merry Mushman is looking to fund 2 more adventures for OSR-style systems, Drought Dragon Desolation, and they're making hostage sausage at the Dragon Meat Processing Plant. Gotta love the title. There's a reason I like the OSR movements. Weird stuff sometimes. Anyway, The Lighthouse at the Edge looks to fund an underwater adventure, which will be compatible with OSR systems, but as well as 5th edition. Windheim Falling will fund 2 books and basically be part 2 of the Horn of Dawn series for Dragonbane, as well as a collection of one-shot adventures set in the Windheim area. It looks like there will be an attempt to fund a new solo adventure for the Fantasy Trip. The Fantasy Trip Path of Mastery will deal with trying to graduate from a school of martial magic, trying to avoid dying, and being expelled along the way. Shadowrun Anarchy 2.0 looks to be an alternate rule set for Shadowrun, which looks to focus more on the story as well as other material. And finally, there's Wara's Blade, not sure how to pronounce it, a Swords of Sorcery mecha-style tabletop RPG, originally released in the 80s and 90s in Japan, and it's now going to get an English version. And on that note, I am going to wrap things up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my Tabletop RPG News Roundup for August 31st, 2025. As always, links will be below. I'm going to forgo doing the thumbnails again. Sorry about that, but at this point, I'm desperate to get any videos out whatsoever, and I've got barbecue waiting for me downstairs because it is, I believe, Labor Day weekend. So anyway, if you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment on any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.